Greetings, everybody. We are here in a very unfortunate yet amazing turn of events, as unfortunately the actual VOD for this game number 4 in the semifinal was actually kind of compromised, sadly enough. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna recast it for you guys, make sure that it's gonna be up on YouTube. So if you're watching this, it doesn't really mean anything for you, but it is just gonna give me a couple things to say at the very beginning. So I have unfortunately seen this game already, but I will try and make sure that I don't spoil anything. I'll say only what I said in the previous cast. So pretty much enjoy the game. It's gonna be awesome. Game number 4 of this semifinals, the last semifinal, well, last of 2, so it's not really that big of a deal. But basically, Everize, Grandmaster Terran player in the bottom, is going to go ahead and play against Noctis, the Protoss player over here in the top. So this is going to be a very solid game, and these guys are definitely up there in skill level. Noctis has done a great job in the first game, the best recovery I've ever seen from a 4-gate, and it was just not enough. Everize's just multi-pronged attacks were devastating. So Everize with his bio control is just very strong. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to be doing in this game. We are seeing him throwing down the barracks, and we'll see if he does end up throwing down gases or not, because he really does like to do that. No gas, fast expand. We'll see how if he's going to be doing that in this game or not. Whether it's going to be Noctis going once again for that robotics opener that he has been going for. He's going to deviate and try and change it up because he is down 2-1. Something unexpected could really help him get back into the series, and we'll see if it's going to allow him to just basically even it out and then take this to a game number 5. Now, Everize's barracks is getting close to completion. Interestingly enough, no gases have been thrown down yet. He has gotten up over 200 minerals. He could be setting up 400 to get that next that command center. He doesn't have a wall off to hide any tech. It's just a single supply depot out there, but we'll see this SCV going on. What is he doing? Looks like he's just going to go ahead and scout. And Noctis is now going to go ahead and enter the base of No, it's not going to enter the base. Wait, yep, there you go. Now he's going to realize that he's actually not being killed off by enemy Marines, so he's going to run in and see that this barracks is making a Marine, and that will make him go away. He, unfortunately for him, though, he didn't get to see this second gas. He didn't get to see if there was anything mining, but it is not going to be happening anytime soon, as there is a command center being thrown down by Everize, so it will be his patented no gas fast expand. Not exactly a shocker, but it's definitely something that he's comfortable with and shown to be very stable with. So it's a very good move on his part. We'll see if Noctis is going to go ahead and change up his play. The Cyber's core has gone down. Will he actually get another form of tech as opposed to the robotics bay? He does have guys running back into gas. He'll have enough for a robo fairly soon, but he's going to go ahead and actually go for the normal zealot stalker. Actually, probably said the zealot. Yep, he's going to go ahead and start trying to kill off that scouting SCV. And looks like this probe is running away. Looks like he's going to try to hide some tech or something. It's going to be a pylon down at the bottom. This will allow for a lot of radius for what can be built. For Noctis, you see that the spreading of the pylons means that one scan will not be able to catch any buildings if you start building tech buildings over there, or if you start throwing tech buildings on this side, which is great. You do not want to allow Terran to get that money scan in order to see everything that you're trying to do, as it's going to allow the Terran to basically not be caught off guard. And catching Terran off guard can really help your gameplay. And there we do see the scouting SCV going to go ahead and die, and actually watching the Stargate being thrown down by Noctis. So we are seeing a deviation for him. We'll see whether he's going to go for Void Rays or if he's going to go for Phoenixes instead. Both are a very strong option. Phoenixes would allow for a transition into Colossi, because that Phoenix Colossus composition is so deadly against Terran. Protosses can definitely use that composition to maximum effectiveness. Use the Phoenixes to kill off the Vikings, to kill off medevacs, make sure the tank the Viking hits that should be hitting the Colossus, and really just do a ton of damage. We are seeing bunkers being thrown down by Everize. The single stalker is starting to whittle down on this bunker. It could easily be cancelled by Everize if he feels like he can't save it, but really, if he moves down with these units, he'll definitely be able to kill it off. But the Marauder does not have concussive shells. No concussive shells are in the mix, however, he is getting stim pack. So trying to just not delay that stim by any means. And we are seeing back here that this Stargate is producing a Void Ray. Very nice. This Void Ray is going to allow for a very strong push against Everize, but Everize has a lot of Marines that he can produce 3 barracks, 3 Marines at the exact same time. If he chooses to build Marines out of the Tech Lab barracks, so right now he is going to go ahead and continue the production of his Marauders through that 1 barracks. This Orbital Command is now finished. Everize now has the capacity to both double Mule and double SCV. The fact that he has not gone into this natural expansion with his Orbital Command will really help him defend from the pushing with this Void Ray, to have fewer areas, a small area that he will really need to actually just make sure it's safe from the single Void Ray. Looks like Noctis is not going to push with the initial Void Ray, might wait for 2 or 3, depending on what he feels comfortable with. And here we're seeing Everize just losing an SCV and trying to get a little bit of scouting, but that will not happen. So I was just poking and see what has been seen. The command center has been seen. So there's going to be Noctis knowing about this fast expand. He could go ahead and push very, very soon and just make sure that Everize can't benefit from having that fast expansion. These supply depots are now being unburrowed, so any attack in the front will actually be able to hit both of the bunkers, as it does seem that Noctis is bringing down a probe, and he's throwing down a proxy pylon. So he's going to be able to reinforce very quickly with the Wargate Tech out, and it looks like he actually does have 2 Void Rays out, and is going to wait for the 3rd in order to do this push. Might be hitting on the 8.5, 9-minute marker, so depending on whether or not Everize should be ready for it. But Everize's food count is just getting farther and farther ahead. You can see that he is now slightly behind in the worker count, but 27-29 with double muling is really not going to be bad for Everize at all. He's throwing down a lot of bunkers, keeping these bunkers on the high ground too. Looks like he wants to be as safe as he can, not to mention the fact that this bunker on the high ground will really be able to hit any attacking forces into this choke, which is going to greatly benefit Everize, especially until the Void Rays get in there, because the Void Rays will allow for vision of this high ground bunker, so the ground units will be able to attack up, assuming that they have range with the Stalkers and the Sentries. Now here we have 3 Void Rays. This is going to be a very strong push from Noctis. A few force fields, make sure the bunkers don't get repaired, are going to be key in order to defend this, and these bunkers have finished. It's going to be a very hard position to hit effectively, as Noctis is actually going to start getting hit by these, the high ground bunkers already hitting. Here we are having the push going in. Void Rays are going to start charging up, killing off the first bunker. Good force fields to prevent these guys from attacking the back, so they're running around, but Noctis' Void Rays are still alive. It looks like one's about to go down with a full charge. It had fallen. Noctis is continuing to run, but his Void Rays are really getting close to dying. This one, a few more hits, stim on the Marines, and get picked off. Another reinforcing Void Rays joined the mix though, and looks like Everize is actually emerging out of this without too many losses. So great for Everize, defending this very effectively. It's going to fall on Noctis in order to follow this push with some form of either increased aggression or proxy pylon into the main. Now we're seeing that these are going to be taken out, salvage on the bunkers to keep it alive. The supply depot might actually not fall. So but this proxy pylon here, Noctis can warp it on the high ground. The Void Rays will give vision of that if he does choose this, but it looks like he's actually instead going to continue poking to the front. Everize does have SCVs here waiting to repair. You can see the units lost tab is definitely favor Everize, with a lot more being lost in terms of the resources spent from Noctis. But now he's going to be able to just warp in units on this high ground if he really wants to. We are just waiting. This could be Zealots or Stalkers, and it looks like they actually made all Stalkers. He could run in and start attacking the middle line with those to try and do as much damage as he can. But Void Rays are now attacking the starport. Does not want these medevacs to come out, but he also could be fearing Vikings, as Vikings can kite away from Void Rays. And now it looks like Noctis is going to continue abusing this clip. Void Rays do have a charge. They're going to continue attacking and just decimating the army for Everize. But Everize is stemming and taking out the Void Rays, just target firing them with the Marines is proving to be very effective. And Noctis is continuing to lose some of his units that he really cannot afford to lose. He has not thrown down a Nexus as natural yet, as you can see on this mini-map. But Noctis is continuing at this heavy Stalker aggression. And whoa, that's so weird that these SCVs are running around on that trip. That is not going to be beneficial for them, but Noctis still has his probe. He can still throw down pylons if he really wants to, but looks like Everize is really focusing on his defense. And now Everize is looking to be very, very stable. Medevacs are now going to heal all of this stim damage, and he could go ahead and just pick off his pylon if he wants to. He is aware of its existence. You can see he has gotten vision of that. Noctis is still on purely Stalkers and Void Rays for his attack, but now we've seen him just now throwing down his Nexus 12 minutes in, as opposed to the no-gas fastest span that Everize did. In order to really try and benefit from this, Noctis is going to have to do a ton more damage. He wants to have a hope of really hitting into Everize's base, as Everize is just being so stable. It's not taking the losses that Everize wants to deal. Everize isn't taking the losses that Noctis wants to deal. It's like Everize actually go ahead and start making a push in the middle. Noctis has vision with this Watchtower. He's actually going to go ahead and sacrifice it as he does see the force coming in. This could be a very, very detrimental push to him as these guys are incredibly strong. Medivacs are in the field, plus these 2 Vikings to start hitting the Void Rays that Noctis is really relying on for the DPS of his army. He's not producing anything more. He did just complete a Robo, so he could try and get Colossi up, but this is definitely going to be a very vulnerable point. Everize is going to be able to really wreak havoc with this attack as Noctis is going ahead and say hit. Vikings are hitting the Void Rays, and now, oh god, Everize has a good concave, standing on his Marines, all of his Marauders are going to just hit those Stalkers, and there's GG from Noctis. So it is going to be Everize moving into the finals of the CASL, going against TQ Wannabe. So now we're going to go ahead and cast those games. Everize versus Wannabe. Definitely stick around, guys, and thank you for watching.